Hello, this is Aggro. This week we're talking to Seagull, former TF2 comp for Classic Mix-Up, former Overwatch Pro for Dallas Fuel, and current full-time streamer for Twitch.tv. We talked for hours on the original stream, so if you enjoy this edit, give us a thumbs up, and I don't know, if we get, what's the fair number, 100? If we get 100 likes, we'll post more of it. And while you're at it, drop us a sub. Maybe one for our editor too. This week it is done by Spiky Mikey. Thanks, buddy.
Hello?
Oh, hello.
Hello.
How you doing?
Doing pretty good.
Okay, right. Are you with me? So the voice that you were listening to beyond my own right now, the voice is not just in my head. That is Seagull. Welcome to the stream, Seagull.
Hello. The chat, we're having a podcast.
So weird. Right.
So
okay.
weird.
So I thought that I was ready, and in fact, I was so chilled that I actually opened a beer. I know. Oh, and as soon as I heard your voice, I started panicking again. So what we're going to be doing today is hanging out, playing a bit of TF2, and experiencing the joy of reminiscing about when times were better.
Nostalgia boomer stream. Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. Nailed it right there. I noticed that you had on your stream before we went live a bit of Destiny. You've turned into a bit of a rando play anything gamer.
Yeah. Over the years, definitely. I've always played a ton of games, and then I just started playing more than the standard one games thing I was doing on stream for the past few years. It's a lot easier when you're not a professional player anymore, so.
Was there rulings about what you're allowed to stream when you went over to the game that shall not be named, the Overwatch? Because I heard somewhere that you weren't allowed to stream TF2 anymore, or was that just somebody trying to turn me down politely?
No, you can do pretty much anything you want. You just can't stream at the same time as the broadcast was on. That was the only rule that I remember off the top of my head.
Not at all? You weren't allowed to do a 3-minute delay or anything?
No, as far as I know, you just couldn't. That was
okay.
Might be different now that they're on a different platform. I don't know. It's been a hot minute since I was in there, but
I mean, one of the differences that is really quite apparent between TF2 and Overwatch is that there is no chill out servers with Overwatch. So did you ever used to chill playing TF2?
Yeah, I used to do jump maps all the time, or pubs. Yeah, constantly.
I mean, I've spoken to TF2 current comp players and the like with TF2, and they've never known anything but comp. Did you come to TF2 with the experience that comp was going to be, or the expectation that comp was going to be the be all and end all of life?
Yeah. So I played Half-Life 2 Deathmatch before TF2, and so I knew that TF2 was coming out. I was so young then. This was 2007, I think. And I knew I wanted to play in tournaments and stuff for it because I enjoyed doing that in Half-Life 2 Deathmatch as a little baby Seagull. But it wasn't like a... It wasn't as if it was the only thing I ever cared about. I just really like to play the game. And there's a lot of variety when it comes to Valve games, because that's how they build their games. They're typically very open systems, and that's probably a testament to because most Valve employees are actually former modders, and so they like to make sure they have mod support in all their games, and they like to let people do their own thing and create their own content. And as a result, that's why we have so many maps in TF2. That's why we had so many game modes, so many different things. There's a lot of custom servers, there's jump maps, there's surf maps, and all sorts of things. And so I would just dick around with my friends, and you could pub stomp, and then there was scrims, and then there was jump maps. Those the three things I did the most.
And thinking about it, when you transitioned onto Overwatch, a lot of the team that you were playing with in TF2 transitioned with you as well.
Yeah, that was everyone from TF2. Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't everyone.
I say everyone as in the friends group
yeah.
I had. Yeah. I don't mean that as in a negative fashion. I mean that as in everyone I played with.
No, that's cool.
Oh god, yeah.
Would you say then that the team that you ended up playing with, it was Classic Mix-Up, wasn't it, towards the end?
Yeah, I played on Mix-Up towards the end of TF2 for a couple of years, I think.
Would I be right in saying that was your friend group was essentially that team?
Yeah. So I think the majority of that team either was swapping over or some people had just got caught up in real life stuff and weren't able to play as many video games as much. But I think, yeah, that was pretty much the friend group back then, was Mix Up, and then anyone else who was trying to look to go pro in a game. We all looked at Overwatch as, this is the genre, and this is the only game we're going to be able to do it in.
Is there anything you miss?
From Team Fortress 2?
Gameplay-wise. Yeah.
Gameplay-wise, movement. Freedom of movement, custom modes, things like that. Definitely jump maps. It depends so much on the game you're coming from. But all the advanced movement mechanics and things like that, I miss all the time. In pretty much every game I play. The only game that I think comes a little bit close is Apex. In terms of really popular games that still have movement mechanics similar to old Source games or DM games.
Yeah, I was going to say, surely Apex is pretty much equivalent based on the fact that the engine is the same. It's a Source engine.
Yeah, it is a Source engine. But it's very modified. It doesn't even have really proper air strafing. Like, the only way to truly properly air strafe is actually do it backwards. It's very scuffed, but it's kind of there. Yeah.
So what? Hang on. Wait, explain, please.
So, like, let's say you wanted to go around a corner in Apex. The movement tech is not you just jump around the corner and you just, you hold the strafe key and you just strafe it. You have to turn, do it backwards.
Yeah.
Because yeah, that's just how Apex works. So if you really want a hard strafe around a corner, it's just how it works.
I remember one of the, I want to say comp people, telling me that, like, the people from Blizzard spoke to TF2 players. Oh my god, I got reflecting. Wow. I'm just going to pretend that was a deliberate act. Not at all a fluke. I wish I hadn't said anything though. But yeah, they said they spoke to the TF2 players and got the experience from them of how it should feel to play certain games and certain experience, and built their game around that.
I do know that there was communication between some players and the developers of Blizzard back in 2014, 2015, I think, after it was announced, before beta or anything. I'm trying to think of...
Yeah.
As far as I know, I don't know if it was about that sort of thing. From what I do remember, it was about spectator tools and more esports stuff, because we had experience of running, like, fast game pace tournaments, and so I think they were asking us for these, like, very early on things like, we weren't going to be doing anything for a couple of years, but what should we be looking at, type of thing. I don't know any of those because I wasn't in any of those discussions. I just remember they were talking to people back then.
I mean, what was it that kept you with TF2 while you were playing TF2 then? If it clearly wasn't the money.
No, I just liked the game. I just liked to compete. It was really fun. I played TF2 off and on for 7 years, and I didn't play it even consistently throughout those 7 years. I was the guy who was notorious for playing one season, and then I played for 2 or 3 seasons, and then I dipped. I think at one point I quit for like a year, and then I went back and I repeat, or maybe I play one season and then I quit the next, and so on. Because I enjoyed playing TF2, and most of it was the atmosphere of playing with your friends, competing, and it was just, I don't know, the community feel, I guess. Hang out with your friends, playing in pubs, you play in tournaments together. It wasn't anything, how do you put it? You're never going to go pro in TF2, so that can't be a motivator. And then eventually, when I decided I did want to try and become a pro gamer, that was after we saw the announcement of Overwatch. I knew I was going to go pro in that. Remember, I was actually in physics class at the time. I was like, yeah, I'll go pro in that game. And then that happened, and I said, okay, I'm going to do this with this game. And that's what I did. But yeah, I don't know. I try to think about that more and more, what actually motivated me to play TF2 for that long. I think it was just, I really liked the game, and I had a lot of friends who played it. And it was really, really fun to play competitively. So I did, just for the love of it, for many, many years.
What was, like, the maps that were being played at comp when you first started playing then?
CTF. I remember playing Capture the Flag.
Holy shit. Did you play 2-Fort?
Yeah, I played 2-Fort. Dude, if you go back and look at the original Reptile Frag video, just go look at all the maps that were posted back then. Specifically, there's a clip of him in a tournament playing on 2-Fort, and this was back before... Remember, there was random crits and random damage. So a pipe from a demo man could do up to 126 and sometimes just one-shot you. And Reptile was walking out of the 2-Fort flag room and literally just got, I think it was 8 crit rockets in a row, and just killed the whole team twice solo, and then they won a tournament. And everyone went, oh, okay, this is fucking stupid. And then someone made a plugin called TF2 and that removed random crits and disabled random damage spread and some other stuff. And then Valve came in and was like, wait a minute, why don't we just put that in our game? And they made console commands for it, and that's how it started. We played
so
Dust
long.
Bowl, we played a Turbine. Turbine was even in season 5, I think. We played the 2-4. There's even one more map that was CTF that was really cool. Just can't remember right now.
It
Yeah,
seems
this is
strange
some
now to even think of
Mach
CTF
2.
as
That
being
was it.
like-
Mach 2. Yeah, that guy
Mach
knows.
2.
Someone in my chat knew the name. I don't know how he knows that. There was also Well. There was a CTF version of Well. We also used to play Well in competitive play. The trains were super cool. I still remember this, dude. I was in a tournament. Oh my god. I was in a tournament and we had Uber advantage and we needed, it was like a 4-4 or something. And I walked my fucking combo into a train and lost the game and lost the match.
No.
This was literally in like a lower bracket situation where we had to, for us who were all the players, I was in community college at the time and I was setting up a transfer and I realized that if I ever wanted to have the opportunity to go pro in a game, that I needed to do it within the next couple of years before I was finishing up the end of my degree, because otherwise I'll get sucked into life and having like a job.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
A
so I
real
said,
job.
yeah, an actual real life job, a scary thing. And then I decided that in order to do that, I should just go all in on Overwatch and see what happens. So yeah, that was...
Did you finish your degree?